if you guys want to see how I took this dark, grown out color to this beautiful bright blonde, just keep watching.
Okay, so game plan for Fallon's hair. Her base is pretty dark and she wants to be obviously like as light as possible, which she already does have like a lot of pre-existing blonde in her hair. We are kind of set at a limit because we can't blonde her more than what her extensions are. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna get her base really bright and more blendy so it doesn't feel as harsh. So how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna pack in as many foils as I can. We're also gonna do just like a little root tap on her just so it grows out really nice, just since her base is so dark. I love using the Original Mineral lighteners, so I like to mix the Super Blonde 9 with a little bit of paint powder. My mixing ratio for this, typically I do 20 grams of the Super Blonde 9, and then I'll do 10 grams of the paint powder. It just gives it that good consistency where it has like enough grit to like stick to the foil, and it's dense enough to saturate, but it's not too thick to where it just like doesn't move. And then I am going to do it. I'm gonna mix 10 vol and 20 vol on this. Just because her base is so dark, I want to give it that extra punch. And always mix with a plastic whip. I love the Davines brushes for foiling because I'm able to get really good saturation with them. It's gonna be so blonde, it's gonna be good.
All right, let's get into this. We are doing a heavy partial on her because when she got her hair done last time, she got a full. I didn't do it, but when she got done last time, she got one, so I just didn't want to go in and do another full on her, especially with clients. I don't like making them pay for fulls every single time if they really don't need it. Like, she has extensions and it covers, so I'm just going to go in and do her hairline because that's where we could kind of see some black holes when it was falling forward with her extensions. So we just decided to do some hairline foils, and then I'm actually going to go in and grab some of those ends and then tip them out also, instead of having to go in and do a bunch of foils. And you guys got to remember, like, that hair that's like right under the extensions in that root area, you're not going to see that until it gets past, you know, right where the nape of the neck is. That's when it's time to go in and do a full. And I don't like my clients getting fulls every time because it's expensive on them, and two, it's like harder on the hair. I feel like it almost leaves the back like healthier, the underneath healthier, to not do a full every single time. So yeah, I'm just going in there and doing the same thing on this side, doing those hairline foils. I think I did about 4. Is that what I did on the other side? So I just did 4 on both sides, and now I'm going in and I'm doing that big giant tip out. And then make sure you're really saturating those ends on the tip out. This ended up staying in her hair the whole time, and it was like literally perfect. Just don't be afraid to saturate those ends. Overlapping can be done in a healthy way to make sure you get your blonde super bright and pretty. All right, now that we got the underneath taken care of, it's time to start on our partials. So on my partials, I always start at the bottom of the Mohawk section. I love starting here because honestly, I feel like I work faster when I start here. But also I like that my Mohawk all processes together and that it's processing the longest, versus where if I started on the sides and then finished with my Mohawk, the last like 4 or 5 foils in the Mohawk section could like potentially not lift all the way to that level 10. So I like that these marinate and they cook longer in the Mohawk section than on the sides. So that's why I love starting like this. I feel like it's honestly easier on my back too. I'm also going to zoom in on my foiling for you guys here so you can see my slaby light, which a slaby light is my term that I made up for the motion that I do with my comb. It's not a slice, it's not a weave, it's just kind of like a bounce of your comb to kind of give you a diffused pickup, so that way you're getting a lot of coverage, but it's not as harsh as like a slice. And I use this on all my blondies, especially my blondies that I'm leaving with no root. It just gives it a really nice, beautiful blend and a lot of coverage. I'm also not leaving out a lot of hair in between. Well, here I moved to my money piece for my section here. So I do a whole pickup for my money piece for that first foil, and the next foil is going to be another full pickup, like a full slice. And then make sure you're really getting a good saturation on these right here. This is right where it matters, right around the face. And then this one I did another slice. And then the one after this will be my first weave. You really want to make sure when you're foiling that your sections are the same in the foil. What's outside of the foil will change. What's inside of the foil stays the same. That's what's going to give you an even lift. Also make note of how much I am saturating. We were talking about this because Fallon, the one I'm doing it, is a hairstylist, and we were talking about just how much product I use in order to get that good lift on the darker base. You have to saturate your product. Make sure you're not saturating it too close to the top of the foil where it could possibly swell out. So make sure, like, I always stick my saturation, my glop towards the like middle of that root that I'm highlighting, and then I'm like just very slightly kind of like pushing that product up to the top versus just slapping on all of that product to the top of the foil. So I don't know if you can really tell because it's not like super zoomed in on here, but like I'm not globbing that product to the very top of the foil. So saturation, equal section sizes, that's what's going to help you get that lift on this dark hair. Also, fine sections. Like, we have to do the fine sections in order to get that lift. We got her literally so blonde, which you'll see later on. I won't skip ahead. I'm still talking about foiling. I'm doing the sides here. And the sides, like, she kind of was having a little black hole by her extension, so I really needed to go in there and just brighten up that black hole and making sure I'm getting everything and not leaving, like, dimension in there because we want it as bright as possible. And here she is, all foiled. So many foils.
I am mixing up her root and her tone. She's lifting beautifully, like she's already like a level 9-10. So I'm gonna go in and just like slightly root tap her. And I don't want it to feel too dark. I'm gonna do like a slight tap on her just so we get like a nice grow out, but it's not gonna cover all the work that we just did. So I am going to do a root tap with a 6-0 and a 7-1. I'm doing the 7 just because I don't want it to go too dark. So equal part 6-0, 7-1 on the root tap. For her tone on her ends, we're definitely going to cancel out some warm, especially on the extensions. And so whenever I'm formulating for my toning, typically I'm only toning on a blonde to color correct. If they are just a perfect level 10, they like a really bright raw lift blonde, I just leave them. But like in instances like this, I am going to tone, and it's because I need to like color correct a little bit. So here's like our color wheel. So she's like kind of in this area on her extensions, like with the kind of orangey yellowy tones. So we're going to go right across from here, and we have like the 0.1s, the 0.6, the 0.8 ones. And so what I have in stock right now is a 10.6 and then a 9.8. So I'm going to mix those two together to help cancel out those orangey yellowy tones. 10 and a 9. That way it keeps it really light and it doesn't like it doesn't just like overtone it. We're going to mix these up and then we're going to put them on. It'll be beautiful.
I just had to show you guys this before again so you can get the full effect of the after. It was so good. Subscribe for more blonding content, new videos weekly. Thank you guys for watching.